Hi everyone, I'm doing my favorite video to make every year, and that is all the books I cried in the year of our Lord 2022. I made this video last year and I absolutely adored it, and so I'm going to make it again. I read 127 books. I cried in 42 of those books. That is about 33% of those books, which is down significantly from 2021. And honestly, I think that's because I read worse books. I had a lot of 1- and 2-star books this year, and I think it meant I cried in less books. It's a bummer. I hope I cry more in 2023. But let me go through my tears really quick. So my tears are all based on Taylor Swift songs, and they're based on how much I cry during these Taylor Swift songs. So the top tier is Ronan. I've actually never listened to Ronan all the way through because that song is too sad. So these are books that make me cry when I think about them. They are sobbing, couldn't breathe, snotty, disgusting. My eyes hurt the next morning. Next, we got Soon You'll Get Better. Again, can't listen to the song without crying. So these were like pretty substantial cries. Probably cried so hard I couldn't breathe. Had to get out of bed and blow my nose. Bigger Than the Whole Sky, we're getting into slightly more pulled together cries. This is the newest addition to this tier list because in Midnights we get this gem, which does make me cry most of the time I hear it. This is going to be like a prettier cry, but still like pretty substantial, like constant tears flowing for over a minute, I would say. Marjorie, we've got like constant tears, some tears flowing, but like a very pretty cry. Like I'm looking beautiful as I cry. Very stunning, no snot, no congestion, can probably have a conversation with you. And Champagne Problems just means my eyes got misty. Like maybe one single tear fell, but like we weren't losing ourselves. So anyway, let's jump into it. Let's go through all 42 of the books I cried while reading in the year 2022. These are in no order. I just popped them all into a tier maker, and now we're gonna go through them. So first up we have Manacled. Manacled is not actually a book, and Storygraph will remind you of that every time you look at it. But this book did make me cry a Ronan amount. This is a 1,500 page, according to Storygraph, book. It is if we base it on word count, it is 2.5 of the 7th Harry Potter book. It is Harry Potter fan fiction. I'm not a fan fiction reader, but for some reason, TikTok convinced me to read this book, and I'm glad it did. Honestly, this book is absolutely, stunningly brilliant. I am going to call it a book, even though Storygraph does not call it a book. It is like Handmaid's Tale meets Harry Potter. It is very, very dark and very, very heavy. It is about what would have happened if they lost the war, if Harry and the gang had lost the war. It takes place they're young adults. I think they're 19-ish. And then we're following Hermione. I don't want to get too much into it. It is dark, it is heavy, it is so good. But it did make me cry really, really hard. I had a headache. I cried so hard. So it's going to start at the top spot. Then we read The X-Talk. The X-Talk is just a cute little rom-com about 2 podcast hosts. And I'm going to give it Champagne Problems. It just gave me a normal rom-com level of crying, in which when we confess our traumas to one another, I will probably tear up. The Do-Over is the last in the Miles High Brothers books by T.L. Swan. This is probably my least favorite of the brothers books. This is about a guy. He's traveling around because he just decided he wants to experience what it's like to not be a billionaire. Whatever. Live your life, my friends. And he falls in love with a girl at one of the hostels. And I don't remember why I cried in this book, but it probably wasn't very much. Brutal Vows, another final book in a series. This is G.T. Jessender's Queens and Monsters series. Mafia romance. Loved it. Great time. Cried a medium amount. Or not very much, I'm sure. I don't even remember what the premise of this one was. It's mafia romance. They're silly. They're ridiculous, but I love them. Conversations with Friends. Conversations with Friends, slightly more tears. I loved Conversations with Friends. I thought it was so good. It is about Frances and Bobby. They're university students. It's mostly about Frances. She winds up having an affair with a married man. It is just so good. I think it's my favorite Sally Rooney by far. I've only read 2. I've only read Normal People and Conversations with Friends, but Conversations with Friends was one of my favorite books of the year. So good. This Time Tomorrow. Oh, that would be a Ronan level of crying. This is a 13 going on 30 sort of time travel book. I keep calling it 13 going on 30 because it has a very similar energy, but it is about a father-daughter relationship, and it wrecked me. It wrecked me even more. Emma Straub has, her father, Peter Straub, is also an author, and he recently passed away, and she was talking about how this was the last book of hers that he read, and ouch, owie bazowie. Next we have Magnolia Park's Long Way Home. So this is the third in the Magnolia Park series, and I'm going to give this Bigger Than the Whole Sky appropriately. This I think is the most emotional of the Magnolia Park's books, at least of the ones we've gotten so far. So of the first 4, Magnolia Parks follows BJ, Valentine, and Magnolia Parks. They're on again, off again, toxic but fated romance. And this one we like explore a little bit more of their past. And it did get me. Call Me By Your Name by Andre Ossaman. We're gonna put that with Marjorie as well. That one gave me some like good, beautiful tears. This is a love story between these 2 young men in Italy. It is like gorgeously written. It is not like a romance per se, but a love story is definitely at the center, and I just thought it was like stunning, and I definitely cried. One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. The classic rom-com cry. Just a couple tears here or there. It was cute. It is adorable. Casey McQuiston writes cute, fun books. Then we have Daisy Hates. So this is the second book in the Magnolia Park series, but it follows Daisy Hates. This series is confusing if you're not familiar with it. This book made me cry a Marjorie amount, and it made me cry over, the thing that made me cry in this book was the relationship between Daisy and her brother Julian, which is my favorite relationship in the whole book. The Daisy books, so we go Magnolia books, then Daisy books, then Magnolia books, then Daisy books. The Daisy books, the Magnolia books, like Magnolia and BJ, I thought were gonna be like my favorite part forever. They're like very Chuck and Blair from Gossip Girl vibes. Like destined to be together, but like cannot make it work to save their lives. But honestly, I'm a Daisy and Julian girl. Not in a creepy way. Just in that their sibling relationship is my favorite thing on the planet of Earth. Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. You know, just like a cute, beautiful cry, I think. This book is like truly ridiculous. It's a small town romance about this girl who comes back to town because her twin sister calls for help. She's like fled her wedding, and turns out her twin sister is evil a little bit. And she winds up having to take care of her twin sister's daughter, so her niece, and then falling in love with the gruff man who lives in the town. As you do. Maracas. This one got me a little bit more than a rom-com cry. This is like a bully romance. I think I'm done reading bully romances. I read several this year and several last year, and like I continued to want them to be good, and continually I was like, ow, they're being really mean, in a way that like we didn't need. So I think we might be done with bully romances. But Ruckus is a rich kid who was mean to a girl in high school, and now he's in love with her. You know, you got it. One Italian Summer by Rebecca Surley is another one that made me sob, sob, sob. It is about this woman who her mother dies, and it is about her kind of dealing with the aftermath of her mother dying, and she does this by taking a trip to Italy, to a town where her mom had like a great vacation. There's some light magic. I love Rebecca Surley books, and this one got me. It is about grief, and grief is the thing that'll like send me over the edge. My Dark Vanessa, I'm going to put Bigger Than the Whole Sky. This is the story, this is one absolutely stunningly written. It is about a teacher-student relationship, and it is about the relationship as it unfolds, and then also about this young woman reflecting back on it 30 years later, and it is just like so gorgeously done. I don't think I've never read it done so well, where it is like both completely understandable. You understand why this relationship happened. You understand why this would be appealing to a 15-year-old, and it is not romanticized in the slightest. I thought Kate Elizabeth Russell did like stunningly brilliant, gorgeous job. Then we have Thrive from the Addicted Calloway Sisters series. I'm gonna put this here. I don't remember exactly. All these books blur together, but this is the one that I have marked that I cried in. What happened? Couldn't tell ya. This one follows Lo, and what's the other girl's name? Or the guy's name? I don't even remember if Lo is the girl or the guy. Confused. I don't know. It's a weird series. Will I keep reading it? Yeah, probably. The last thing he told me, we're gonna give another Marjorie rating. This is a mystery about this woman whose husband disappears, and she is left to take care of his daughter, her stepdaughter. And I thought the mother-stepdaughter relationship in this was like the highlight of the book. It is like a fun mystery, but also like the relationship is top tier. Ghosts had me just crying like a champagne problems amount. If you have watched my last video, this was my favorite book of 2022, and it follows this young woman who is 32, and it is about all the relationships in her life and how they are evolving as like the people around her are aging and moving on to different steps in their life, and it was brilliant. I loved it absolutely, and it made me tear up. Gorgeous. Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. Again, just like teared up. I have heard that the next couple books will get me. I haven't read them yet. I tried to read them while I was sick, but my brain didn't have enough. It was like too full of books to actually like make sense of a fantasy. Had to read simpler romances, but Gorgeous. The Bell Jar. I'm gonna put it Bigger Than the Whole Sky. The Bell Jar is absolutely brilliant. I was told time and time again that it is like a miserable, like depressing book, and I don't think that's true. This book was also laugh out loud funny. Like, it dealt with a lot of different emotions, and it deals with depression. But I don't think it's a depressing book. But there were definitely some parts that like really got me crying. It's gorgeous. Everyone should read it. Brilliant. Kiss the Sky, again, another Calloway Sisters book. I think this one had me crying slightly less. At least that's what my notes say. Kiss the Sky, this one is about... Oh, this one is the oldest sister's romance. This one is my favorite of the books, of the Calloway Sisters books. She's the oldest sister. She's like very, very, very type A. And it's like an academic rivals to lovers. Delicious. Crooked Kingdom. This may be the book I cried the most in this year. This book, it's up there. This book really wrecked me. This book got me. The end of this book, I'm going to press charges against Leigh Bardugo. Anyway, if you read this book, you know why. But, man, it got me. Like, I cried like my family was being murdered in front of me. So, then we have House of Sky and Breath, which is the second book in the Crescent City series. This book... I think I'm going to put in the Bigger Than the Whole Sky. Sarah J. Maas books always made me cry, but this book was definitely less. I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead. I also read the first book in the Crescent City series, and this book is top tier. Made me sob. The end of Crescent City 1 made me absolutely sob. I'm so excited for Crescent City 3. We still don't have a release date. Sarah, get on it. But yeah. Crescent City 1, sobbing. This one just crying. Crying. Book lovers. Book lovers? I know, I'm putting it here. I feel like this might surprise people because, like, did anything like that sad happen? Yeah, actually. You know what? Some of Nora's passed. Pretty sad. This book really got me good, and the oldest sister trauma was felt like quite strongly from me. Emily Henry always makes me cry, like pretty good. She gets me. Then we have Paint It Red. I have all my notes for the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey are like smushed together, so I actually don't know which one made me cry, but I think Paint It Red is the last one. I didn't cry that much in the series. It is like kind of silly, kind of cheesy. It's like a revenge story about this woman who's a serial killer. We find out why she's a serial killer, and honestly she has great reasons. We support her. And she winds up dating an FBI agent who is on the hunt to try to find her. It's ridiculous. There are 5 books. They're all super short. I read them like as one book over the course of a weekend. But they're a really good time. You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. This book is gorgeous. It deals a lot with grief. Grief will make me cry. It is about this woman whose husband, I believe, maybe fiance, I cannot remember if they actually got married. I think they did. Has died like 5 years prior, and she's like starting to date again. It's about her like learning how to love again, and there's like a romance. It takes place on an island. It's like gorgeous and fun and silly and a great time. House of Hollow. This is about 3 sisters who have spooky stuff happening to them, and 3 sister books will get me going because I'm the oldest of 3 sisters. This book was gorgeous. I thought it was like such an interesting exploration of sister dynamics, but also like such a fun premise. Like I said, it's about these 3 sisters. They went missing for like a month when they were children, and then they came back and they were off. Their hair went white and their eyes went black, and now they like have magic powers in that they can like kind of compel people to do certain things. They also like are always starving. They're always so hungry, but they like never really like change size. And it is very like Rotting Flowers type vibes, like spooky pretty. Absolutely loved it. Hands down by Mariana Zapata. You know Mariana Zapata is going to make me shed a tear or 2 every time. This one is a cute little, I would actually say this one's probably here. No, here, we'll leave it there. This one is like a childhood friends to lovers. It is not the typical like grumpy sunshine dynamic that Mariana Zapata loves, but honestly, like still loved it. Know by Name by Chanel Miller. We're going to put up here, this is a memoir of Chanel Miller's experience as a sexual assault survivor, and about her kind of experience with like the legal system, and also just like about the mental and emotional toll that her assault had on her. It is absolutely stunning. If you can handle this topic, I think you should read it. I think it is incredibly important. I think more people should be reading it because the number of sexual assaults that take place at college campuses is like staggering, and I think it is an important conversation to be having about like how do we protect each other, and also how do we make sure the legal system is set up in a way to support victims of sexual assault. The Graduate. This is the second book in the Schoolmance series by Naomi Novik, and this school is like a school for, it's like Hogwarts if there were no teachers and also everything was trying to kill you. You know, that's the vibe. So it's a bunch of kids who have magic powers. They are sent to the school because monsters want to eat them, essentially. And it's about these two kids at the center of this school, one of whom is like the monster Slayer 3000, the other one who's like monsters for some reason are like extra attracted to her. I don't know. I don't quite remember the premise. It's a good time. I really enjoyed it. And it did make me cry. Magnolia Parks. This one is just like baby tears. I don't think anything that explicitly sad happens in Magnolia Parks. The first one. But like, I don't know. I cry in a rom-com, okay? This is definitely not a rom-com. This is definitely like a dramedy. Dramedy? It's not a comedy. It's definitely like a drama. But I don't think anything that explicitly sad happens in it. Gracie Met the Grump. This is a Mariana Zapata. A little different though. We've got like a superhero twist to our Mariana Zapata. But, you know, the same premise as every other Mariana Zapata book. A super slow burn, grumpy, sunshine sort of dynamic. And there's a kidnapping in this one. Delightful. 1,000 Boy Kisses. Okay, this one did get me good. Did I love this book? No. But it is incredibly sad. And it did make me cry. Soon You'll Get Better amount of tears. War of Two Queens. This is the most recent book in the From Blood and Ash series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This series is a series. But it did make me cry. I will keep reading these books until she stops writing them. They are getting worse. Just kidding. I liked this one better than the one before it. The third book was rough to get through. This one was slightly better, more interesting. It's more off the wall. Things are getting unhinged in the plot. But I'm still here. I will be here. You know? I Am is another memoir. This one is by Maggie O'Farrell, and it is about, it's her life told in her experiences of times she has almost died, and it is beautiful. The last story is the one that got me, is where we get that I am, which is a refrain from The Bell Jar from Sylvia Plath. And it is just like gorgeous. I haven't read any of Maggie O'Farrell's fiction. She most famously, I think, wrote Hamnet, and I'm like very excited to read that because I loved her memoir so incredibly much. Okay, Tragic Bonds. This is the fifth book in the Broken Bonds series by Jay Breeze. This series is a Kindle Unlimited fantasy romance. It is silly. The premise of it is that there is a magic system that is based kind of on soulmates, and so it is like a reverse harem too. So it is about this girl who has 5 soulmates. Yes, 5 soulmates. And once they consummate their relationship, their magic powers grow. And she has like crazy magic powers. It's silly. It's ridiculous. But this one did make me cry a little bit. Six of Crows. This one only made me cry a little bit, and what makes me cry is Nina Matthias. Nina Matthias made me cry in Six of Crows. They're also the reason I cried in Crooked Kingdom. Not to spoil things, but they're my favorite part of that story, and it is about these, if you don't know the premise of Six of Crows, it's about these 6 kids, they're all teens, and they are they're gonna break into this ice prison and break this guy out, and it's about kind of their relationships, and it's a beloved book. I have a whole vlog about it called Crying in Ketterdam, and I did cry in the first book as well. Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong. It's a Romeo and Juliet retelling, and this is the second book in the Romeo and Juliet retelling, so you probably know why I cried. It takes place in 1920s Shanghai during like the Communist Rebellion. And this is the second book in the series. Resurrection of Wildflowers. I cried barely in this. I should have sobbed. I'm shocked that I didn't sob. But I really did not enjoy this book's duology. It's a duology. This is the second one in the duology. I read it right after My Dark Vanessa, which I think really tinted my my impression of it, because there's a pretty substantial age gap. And after reading My Dark Vanessa, and the age gap just really rubbed me the wrong way. But something like really traumatic happens at the end of the first book, which you would have assumed made me cry, but you will not see that first book on this list. And then I cried a little bit in the second book, just because, like, I think you have to. It is written to be incredibly emotionally manipulative. Speaking of emotionally manipulative, we've got Miss Colleen Hoover. I know it's like popular to hate on Colleen Hoover, and that's not me hating on her. I think she does a brilliant job of writing like emotionally a little bit manipulative books with twisty twists. The Reminders of Him is like, I would barely call it a romance. I know it often gets categorized as a romance. It was in the Goodreads Choice Awards, and it shouldn't be. It is about this woman who something happened to her that sent her to jail, and now she's returned to kind of the town, not where she grew up, but where her daughter is, and is trying to like get custody, or at least be able to see her daughter again. And it is traumatic, and it did make me cry like pretty hard, which is not shocking for a Colleen Hoover book. The Simple Wild. This one had me sobbing. This is another one where a father-daughter relationship is kind of at the core, but this one is a romance, not between the father and daughter. Don't be a weirdo. It is about this young woman who winds up going to visit her father, who lives in Alaska. He lives in this like very rural town in Alaska, and he's an Alaskan bush pilot. Her mom fled Alaska when she was like super, super young, because she was like, this is not the life for me. And now the daughter really hasn't had much of a relationship with her father, but she decides I think she loses her job and she has time, so she decides to go stay with him for a summer, a couple months, and winds up falling in love with the pilot herself. And ooh, this one had me crying on the cold hard ground. And then the last one is Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. There's a twist in this one that is a rude, kind of a cheap little twist that had me crying like pretty substantially towards the end there. It was definitely not one of my favorite reads of the year. I think it was like pretty predictable, but you know, still got me at the end. Still got me. So must have done something right. Okay, that is it. That is my all the books that made me cry in 2022 list. Shorter than last year because I cried in less books this year, but still lots of tears were shed. I hope more tears are shed this year because I love a good crying book. I love a good book that'll make me sob. I would definitely say these three, Crooked Kingdom, Crescent City 1, and Manacled, are like the top books that made me cry. I don't know what order I would put them in. Crooked Kingdom is like the most recent, so I might just have a recency bias there. Crescent City was also like pretty hard, and Manacled is just so long that like I think I was crying for the most amount of time on that one. I will talk to you all later. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you read a book that made you cry this year. Or last year. And I hope you read a book that makes you cry this year. I think that's one of the most beautiful things about books, is they can make you have a good cry. Okay. I will talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.